1, I'd like to call to order the meeting for the Hanson Board of Health of December 15th. We'll start with a roll call. Arlene Diaz.
Here.
Kevin Perkins. Doesn't seem to be here. And I'm here, Dennis O'Connell. Oh, Kevin, you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. First order of business is to approve the minutes of the meeting for November 10th. If everyone had a chance to read them.
Yep. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the November 10th meeting.
I'll second that motion. This is Kevin.
And we'll do a roll call. Arlene?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
And I'm a yes also. Next order of business would be to set a meeting date for next month.
Yeah, so we don't have any meetings set for 2021 yet. So I don't know if you want to do the whole year, you just want to do 1 month and then look at the calendar, or what you want to do.
Why don't we just do a month and we'll look at the calendar? It's probably
Okay.
better.
Okay. Pick a Tuesday, any Tuesday. So today's the 15th, so 4 weeks would be January 12th. So there's the 5th, the 12th, the 19th, or the 26th, so the Tuesdays in January.
Is anyone restricted from any of those dates, or
I
prefer any date?
I think the 19th I might not be available.
That's the day after the holiday. I don't know if it's.
I think it is, yeah.
It's a holiday weekend.
I'd go with the 12th.
All right, why don't we tentatively say the 12th then?
Okay.
Next order of business would be the COVID testing being set up for December 19th and 20th.
Yep. Here comes Gil.
Thank you.
Yes, we have set up a COVID testing lab for the 19th and 20th in conjunction with other departments within the town. It's going to be held by an ACCU Reference Medical Lab out of New Jersey. They're probably one of the top ones we have in the area. And we set it up at the middle school. We'll have a tent there for them. It'll be in lanes. Spoke to highway, fire, and everybody. We all get together to put this all together to have it for the 2 days, and hopefully it's going to be successful. We've had to, the town has a medical officer through the fire department, so he had to do, his license and all that sent to the lab because it's federally funded. They do charge, people that don't have insurance are free. And if you look at the website, go on the website, they can get the results on the website. And so it's going to be interesting. All towns are following suit, getting these labs in to do testing.
It's open to anyone, Gil? It's not restricted to
business, but it's open to anyone.
Right.
So hopefully we'll have a good turnout. It's done, Saturday and Sunday, 8 to 4. And, we'll have police. We have firefighters. There'll be policemen there. And a couple of people that work for the town will be there helping out. So it should work pretty good, hopefully. The weather looks a little bit cold, but these people prefer to work outside. They do not want to work in any building or have any people come up to them. They want to go to the people.
Right.
So it turned out pretty good.
Any questions about that?
I have a question. Teresa, was that put on the Hanson Facebook page?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't. For some reason, I don't get the notification, so I'll look for it.
Yeah, it's pinned,
I got it because the Hanson
pinned to the top of the page.
Yeah, no, not the town page. I'm talking about Facebook. Usually when you post
it's
I
pinned
get them like,
top of our Facebook page. I put it on our Facebook page. Ryan from IT put it on the town Facebook page, and I also put it on, I think it's Hanson Mass Connect or Connection, and I put it on Twitter, I think too, maybe not Twitter, and it's on the town website.
Yeah, I got it from the police station. The police reported it out, so I'm gonna
it's
figure out what
on our webpage. on our Facebook page, rather.
All right, I'll look.
It should be pinned to the top.
Yeah, I'll check and see if I can find it.
Everybody tries sharing, like we've had this instances before, where the sharing doesn't work on a few things. I know it went out through the police, went out through the fire, went through the Board of Health and everything, so they're trying to get the word out to the residents.
Yeah, but this is not sharing. Most spots I get notifications as soon as you post. And for some reason with that, it's not working. I'll check and see what it is.
I don't know. I posted it yesterday
Right.
when everything was finalized, because we were waiting for a link for the form that needs to be submitted.
And do people have to fill out the form in advance?
They fill out the form and bring it with them.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. And if somebody can if you can make a copy of your insurance card and your license, that will make everything go faster. If you don't have the capability to make a copy, there will be photocopiers there, so somebody can make a copy for you, but it's just faster if you could do it at home and bring it with you.
Okay.
And that's all on the posting.
Very good. Any other questions?
Nope, that was it.
Next order of business would be emergency preparedness.
If Gil is going to be providing information as part of his report, the emergency preparedness and the recycling can wait until then.
Okay. So we'll skip that and the recycling contract, and we'll incorporate it as part of Gil's report.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we'll go right on to the septic plans. First up is 283 Lakeside Road. Stenbeck and Taylor.
Terry, are you on?
I'm here. For the record, Terry McGovern from Stenbeck and Taylor. And if you can't see the screen, I can happily share the plan, which I have at hand and can put up for you.
No, they all have copies of everything.
We have copies. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. If you're looking at the plan, basically what we're proposing, the Chumseys live down on Lakeside Road. They're right up against the pond. There were repairs done on the left and right sides of them within the past few years. And when we did our test holes, we landed at the same groundwater elevation as the one immediately to the right of us. I think it's 289. And so what we're proposing is a drip irrigation system, which will be a pump dosed system through hydraulic tubing. And in order to keep the height of the mound and the elevation down, we're putting this in a 20 by 24 foot sand bed that's going to be out beyond the end of their existing driveway. We'll strip off the top and subsoil. We have all good material underneath. Oakson Inc., the originators of the system, will actually, once the sand bed has been prepped and the tanks are installed, they'll come in and they will actually set the lines, the emitters, and set the hydraulic box. So in order to do that, because we're in one of these tight, narrow pond areas, we're requesting a few horizontal setbacks to the foundation and to the property line, which we're putting a membrane around the system, and a 1 foot vertical relief so that we don't have this basically mound at the height of their deck. What we're going to do afterward is put they had a post and rail fence at the edge of their driveway, and we're going to replace that post and rail fence so that the system isn't driven on. The tanks will be monolithic tanks next to the driveway. We have gone in front of or spoken with Frank Schellinger, the conservation agent. We're outside of the 50-foot setback. We're going to be just a little over 60 foot to the pond, so he is all set with that and has issued a blanket permit on that. I believe the review engineer, Jim Donovan, has reviewed it, and we've addressed all of his comments on both of those sheets. And the plans you have should now be the revised plans with those changes made in red. And I can go out to the plans if you like, if there are any questions.
Does anyone have any concerns with Mr. Donovan's assessment or the plans?
No, this is Kevin. I just had a couple design questions. So when you do this, are you required to do an overdig on this? Or no? Is that an advantage to doing this kind of system?
Yeah, we're actually not required to do an overdig on it. We are putting in a membrane though at the 5-foot limit out, because even though technically there's no breakout, you can
Right.
actually place these systems on a slope. They're a little bit similar to a kind of the same idea as a Presby system, where a Presby system with the Presby piping, supposedly you don't have breakout. But because of the proximity to the pond, basically because of the horizontal setbacks that variances we're asking for, we are putting a membrane around the system on 3 sides. But technically there's no breakout and there's no need for removal. You can actually put it in the top. You can actually put it in the top or subsoil.
So what do you actually need for cover? Just 6 inches topsoil?
What we do is we bed it in about 2 or 3 inches of sand to backfill it.
Yep.
And then we put about 9 inches of just regular loam over the top of it and seed it.
Okay. No, my only concern, I mean, I understand it's approved and everything from the state. My only concern just on the consumer end of it would be in the Northeast, would it be freezing up? I mean, I know typically blow out an irrigation system in the winter. That would just be my concern.
Yeah. On the second page, there's a whole series of cold weather notes and some individual notes within the details that Jim picked up on as well. And we kind of added or broke some of those notes out. What happens is the system does have a drain back to the hydraulic line in the chamber. So there is kind of like a drain back similar to a pressure dosing system.
Sure.
And then the emitters themselves are actually, when you get to the ends of these, the little loops that are around the ends are kind of banked up a little bit so that they drain back to the nearest emitter and they do drip out. They do get to drip out. I personally have done about 18 of these, the oldest being now about 13 years old, and we haven't had a problem with them.
So basically what you just have a basic pump chamber and then some type of zone box, I'm assuming, with a couple zones and a couple runs off of that?
That's absolutely correct.
Huh. I've never actually seen one. I'm kind of just curious, just for my own knowledge. I've seen one other plan for one, but that's it. No, I mean, the plan looks good and it meets the requirements. So I don't see any issue with it. I was really just curious for my own knowledge.
Now we can, if we get rid of the snow, we can let you know when it's going in. You can take a look.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good. No, I don't have any other questions. Oh, one quick question more. So your separation, that's just from the bottom of, I would assume, the 1-inch poly pipe that you're using?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still actually building the side up a little bit. We are going to lift it just very slightly because it slopes. And that's because of the proximity to the pond. We want to make sure we keep some we don't want to have an inconsistent separation. Again, even though you could technically put this on a slope, we're working in kind of a level area of the yard. So we're going to lift that basically from the driveway out. By the time you get out parallel to the end of the house and where there's a shed, we'll bring the grade up about a foot when we do that. And that's, again, because of the proximity to the pond.
So you're saving about a foot on your mound, really, as opposed to doing a traditional chamber.
Yeah, almost 18 inches, actually, because we would have had a foot of cover over the system.
Right.
Plus, by the time you put some chambers or some stone in there, you've got that thickness of the system, which is about a foot, as opposed to the 1-inch tubing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, looks good. I don't have any other questions.
Any other concerns, questions?
Nope.
It's me, Gil.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the plans.
Gail
for
is saying
280
something, Dennis?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got a quick question, for the engineer here. How many people, let me put it this way. How many people have actual certification to do this system as far as installers go?
What happens is Oakson themselves does the installer will do the tank and do the bed preparation. So they'll set the tanks and the pump chamber. And outside of the pump chamber is a separate hydraulic unit and the lines going out. So Oakson themselves, the actual manufacturer, they will come out and do that part of it. So you don't have just some random contractor that hasn't done these before. We just did one in Hanson about 2-3 months ago. Halifax, and I've done several in Situate and Cohasset. Oakson is one, GeoFlow is another, but in this case, Oakson themselves will do the actual install of the hydraulic zones and the tubing, and they're certified by the state.
Is there a maintenance contract for this also?
Yes, there is. Yep, there will be.
And what's that? Is it yearly or bi-yearly?
I believe it's yearly.
And that'll be signed before the certificate of compliance will be issued then?
Yes.
Is that something we need a copy of in the office?
Yes.
You will have a copy of it. Yep.
Thank you.
I guess that's it for me.
I only have
I'll
one
entertain-
question though, because I can't see it. Is the deed restriction? Is there a deed restriction?
Yes,
Yes.
there's a deed restriction
Okay.
notation on the plan. It's a 3-bedroom deed restriction.
Yeah. Yeah, you should
Okay,
have
I
that
just-
in the package.
I can't see it because it's small. Thank you.
I actually draw up the deed restriction. Terry?
Yep.
Yep, and I will forward it to the homeowner.
Yeah, I thought we had submitted a copy with everything, because I do
You
have.
did, but we do them in the office.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the plans for 283 Lakeside.
I will make a motion that we accept the plans for 283 Lakeside.
I'll second that motion. This is Kevin.
And we'll go to roll call. Arlene,
Yes?
Kevin,
Yes.
and I'm a yes also. Thank you.
thank you very much, folks.
Have a nice
You're
evening.
welcome.
You too.
Next up is 67 Indian Head Trail. Webby Engineering.
Joe Webby here.
Hi, Joe.
Hey,
How
Joe.
you doing?
Hello. I'm just bringing it up.
There it is. Mhm.
That, somebody mute them? I'm not sure we're getting that noise in the background. Yep.
Mhm.
Dennis?
Hello?
Oh, I'm just hearing noise in the background, so I couldn't tell if you were still there.
Oh, yeah, I don't know where that's coming from.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at the plan, but I don't know if you want to sort of talk about it. We're looking.
I have the plan in front of me too.
Okay, I have to try to blow it up. Let's see.
Trying to follow our notes.
Yeah, I know. I looked at all of those, and I wondered if all of the questions he had were addressed on the application.
I think they were. There was one that was about the alarm and pump being on separate circuits in the note 1. That was one of them. There was another one regarding waterproofing for the inlet and outlets on the tanks. And there was one more on the elevation of the 2-inch force main that I believe that was addressed to him. Looking at that.
Water leaching area.
Yeah.
Usually, if you look at the plan on this one on the bottom right, if you look at number 2, it says description revised per comments on 11.5. So that's
Okay.
usually addressed after the review.
Oh.
Strength of the collective Europe and freedom, self-determination of a country, and that's what the UK.
Okay. And it has a deed restriction. I see that. Bottom.
The waterproofing note, if you're looking for that, that was one of the comments. That's right at the top of the plan where it says proposed 1,500-gallon monolithic extended base precast concrete tank. If you look just below that, about 2
Yeah,
inches.
yeah.
Contractor shall waterproof pump chamber.
Once I can blow it up, I can see it.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to pull up on the computer.
And I have to do it in sections when I blow it up. I only get a certain amount. Okay. So I'm not quite sure what that is. That noise. I don't know. Do we have any questions? Evan, do you have any questions?
I don't. This one was I believe it was just a sieve analysis and then a groundwater reduction for a foot. They were going from 4 feet to 3 feet. And then just allow the use of a sieve analysis because they hit modeling at like, I think 20 inches or something really. Where is it? Yeah, it looks like they hit modeling 20 inches. So, I mean, it's pretty tough to do a perk. So that's really the only option they had.
Okay.
You said there was a deed restriction on it, correct? You saw that?
I saw it. I did see that, yes.
I don't see any issues then.
Okay. I will make a motion that we accept the plan for 67 Indian Trail.
I'll second that motion.
We'll go to roll call, Arlene?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
I'm a yes also. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Have a
You're
good evening. Sure, I just lost it.
Main Street?
Yeah, I just lost my place. Hold on.
Oh, I know it's 111 Main because as we're going through them and deleting them.
There we are. It's 1101 Main Street is the next one. Merrill Engineering.
Yeah, this is Josh Green from Merrill. If you can hear me.
Hi, Josh.
Hey, am I good to just start?
Sure.
So the repaired system that we're proposing is for the existing building at 1101 Main Street. It's a pretty standard system at the start of the southern portion of the building. It's a 2-compartment septic tank going to a pump chamber that pumps up to a D-box. From there, it'll be going into a raised presby. The Presby's sized roughly about twice the square footage of what it needs, just because of the minimum that Presby puts forward. It's also being proposed to have a sub drain, which just kind of gives the system a second chance at life if anything does happen down the road, which just kind of avoids the need for extra work. Well aware of the fact that we're inside conservation's jurisdiction, so we just want to propose everything we can to limit future work. Kind of do this once and make sure it's good for as long as possible. Outside of that, it's really just the two variances that we'd be requesting, which is the groundwater separation. There's a decent amount of fill on the site, which didn't leave us much area to determine modeling as far as where we hit between fill and sand. So where we saw water and where we fronted up to gave us about 3 feet of separation for us to put the system on. And then the other variance was for the use of the sieve, which goes hand in hand with that first one, just because the amount of fill and where groundwater was when we did the test pits, there just wasn't an area to do a perk test.
A deed restriction notation's needed on the plan. I couldn't find one on there. For the distance to groundwater separation.
Okay.
What would you do for a deed restriction on a commercial property?
It's for 150 gallons per day, so it would be for the 150 gallons per day.
Right. I mean, they wouldn't be able to exceed that anyway, right?
Right, but just so that it's understood, because there's no notation on the plan.
Okay.
It's required with the distance to groundwater variance.
Did everyone have any questions about Mr. Donovan's review?
I'm assuming all the notes he put there were, I was just looking for a date to see if the plan had been updated since his notes. I have to assume that it has been. Looking. No, I don't have any more questions.
Kevin, you all set with it?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll entertain a motion if everyone's comfortable with it.
I'll make a motion that we accept the plan for 1101 Main Street.
I'll second that motion. This is Kevin.
And we'll go to roll call. Arlene,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Pending the deed restriction notation.
very good. And I'm a yes also. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next order of business would be old unfinished business. Anything to discuss? Anything new? If not,
No.
we'll go on to probably the agent's report, right? We don't have any other septic plans. So if Gil's ready,
I guess you want to discuss the recycling first,
No, that's part of your agent report.
well, yeah.
No, I said if it's part of your report, we'll discuss it then. So
Okay,
you can
well,
start wherever you want.
yeah, I'll start with that. I mean, as far as that goes, we haven't really moved forward in that because the market, as you know, recycling is based on the commodities market. And before, when I talked to John, it's been up and down so far and everything, you know, up high, down low, and it's really kind of strange right now. So, you know, we extended it to 6 months. It ends again in June. So, you know, hold off and see how things go with, you know, the COVID and everything, how it's, you know, struck the, you know, the whole country and the whole world basically. So, it's basically on hold.
Did you and John respond to the email that I sent you?
I don't know if John responded to that or not. He was talking to Todd. I mean, John's been busy and he's been out a few times, so we really haven't paid attention to it. We've been so busy other things, but that's the way they had felt before about it.
All right,
What
I'll
was
follow.
reference to?
It was an opportunity to us to get help with the new contract.
Oh,
have to
that
look back.
woman that you mentioned before?
Huh?
That woman that you had mentioned before, was
Yeah.
it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so
I
I can resend the email because it's an opportunity to sort of take that off of John's plate.
Yeah.
And so it would be, even if he's busy, just to respond and say, yes, I'm interested in getting this help. And then he's all set. He doesn't have to worry about it. But that hadn't happened. And a couple of deadlines were coming up. So I'll follow up with him and just get him to do that because it would be significant for him because he wouldn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know.
And I'll try to get down and mention it to him also.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll mention him again, 'cause I know him and Todd are, you know, pretty interested, you know, in the contract as far as recycling and waste, so, you know, I'll mention to him again, and maybe Dennis, as you come down, we can talk to him about it, so.
Yeah.
And, okay, what's next here? Now, what are we gonna talk about next here? What's the EDS plan there? Is that what we're gonna go next here? Okay, as far as the EDS, go ahead.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to know how things were moving along.
On the EDS plan.
Yeah. No, well, not necessarily the plan, but in terms of the plan, the resources. I know the governor just provided extra money for the boards of health. Do we know in what way that's going to help us?
No, they haven't announced that yet. They just talked about that. Weren't you on that call?
Yeah.
I was on that call, but they announced it like last night. I saw an email about that, about them, the $10 million.
Yeah,
Well,
so that's going to take a while to get to us. Hopefully soon, but I don't think it's.
Yeah,
Is
we
it
just received
simply-
another $775 from the Mass Board of Health Association. We just got that extra money, $775. But as far as that other money, it just got announced on today's call. So as far as
they haven't said what it's going to cover.
Go ahead again.
They haven't said what that will cover.
No, or how much
No.
we'll get. They just said $10 million. The governor put $10 million for local boards of health. So who knows how it's going to be distributed or when. But I believe that's in the new budget, and the new budget wouldn't be until July. But I don't know, maybe they're releasing it sooner? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would think with all this vaccine stuff going on, they'd be not waiting till July.
Right, I just know that they said it's in the new budget. So the new budget would be effective fiscal 2021, July 1st.
Right. Yeah, well, okay, that's not going to be helpful right
No.
now. Okay.
Okay, so moving on. You know, emergency plan and emergency management. We've gotten together. You know, when this whole thing started, the governor pretty much already stated, you know, emergency management team was going to be, you know, like in our situation, fire chief, police chief, health agent, and town administrator. And you know, of course, everybody's gotten so busy, the different offices. And one of the things we found out, our infrastructure is very bad here in Hanson. So but everybody's doing the best they can. All the departments are getting together. We found this out mostly in putting this testing map together. The town needs to really take a look at itself. You got good people, you got good departments, and our resources are kind of limited. So that's one of the things we looked at, and we found that out actually trying to set up this testing site. That we don't have all the equipment we should have, but we have come through with all the departments working together. So, in association with that, our EDS plan, which is very old, it hasn't been updated in years, and the EDS people, we finally got together with Jerry Thompson, the fire chief, who's been really great about this. He's heard about the plan. No one's actually upgraded this plan. It's very old, so we're working on that and trying to get that updated and get put together. So there's quite a few things going on. The office is very busy. I don't know if Teresa wants to touch base on that as part of my report as far as what's going on as far as what the COVID stuff.
Bill, the EDS is emergency dispensing system?
Yes.
Emergency dispensing site.
Site, thank you.
Yes. Yes. So in regard to COVID, in the past 14 days, which would be November 29th through December 12th, we've had, when I checked earlier, it was 99 cases.
99 new cases, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we're still in the red.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the numbers are going up steadily. So it's not good news by any stretch of the imagination. So yes, my assumption is we would still be red. So before I used to know how many people were tested. So it's based on the number of positive cases as well as how many people were tested. I don't have access to how many people were tested. So, but that's the highest number we've had last, for the previous 14 days, we had 65 cases. So it's gone up obviously considerably.
But the state knew that because of Thanksgiving, the numbers were going to rise. People were going to get together, they were going to travel, and they knew there was going to be a big bump up.
Right,
So,
but that still doesn't change the fact, like, it's going up, it's not good. People need to stay home.
No. Is there any other resources or any way that we can get information out to people? Like, should we put more stuff on cable of what people need to do in terms of contact, what they're expected to do now? What's the difference between isolation and quarantine and just, I don't know.
I actually just put something out earlier today. It's mass.gov/isolate, and isolate is ISOL and then numeral 8.
Yep.
And it does have some good information. I put it on the Facebook page, I put it on Hanson Mass Connection, and I put it on Twitter. So that has some good information.
Okay.
But
I can send that over to cable too to put that on, because in both towns it's the same. It's just a matter of getting people are tired of wearing their masks, and we're going to have to do it for a while, or this is going to continue.
right.
And at some point, it's already out of control, but it can get more.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been a busy month for all of us here. We've had a few business closures due to COVID-19. We've had a lot of real estate transactions. The real estate transactions are very busy. A lot of Title V stuff going on. And one thing about as far as advertising, going back a step, as far as advertising for COVID, all the towns are putting it up for the people to go to the state website, go to the state dashboard and whatnot, because as they're finding out, the town halls, who are basically understaffed anyhow, are being inundated with phone calls. So they're trying to push everybody to go to the state websites and and do it that way. Look at the dashboard, and you'll see the message boards. Hopefully, we'll have one shot. Telling people, directing them to the state website instead of calling town hall, trying to get local information.
Yeah, if we put something on cable, it can just give them the information so they're not going anywhere, or give them the information to go to the state website, because the state is like every day updating and adding new stuff because of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, the dashboard comes out, every Thursday afternoon now?
Thursday evening.
Thursday evening, so.
Yeah,
the
it's
town.
updated on Thursday.
It's based on the numbers that they pull at 8 a.m. on Wednesdays, and then they publish Thursday late afternoon, early evening.
And you know there has to be a huge uptake in testing. So.
Oh, I would assume so. Yes.
Yeah, all that information is on the dashboard. It's on there. So
Yeah.
that's what we try to do.
And I
Direct it to the dashboard.
This is probably going to continue for the next 3 or 4 months. If people are going to continue to have to be tested, we'll see until they can get vaccinated. Which now I'm assuming the state's not doing any plans for local anytime until maybe it becomes phase 3.
Yeah, it'd be at least phase 3. And also with that, if it does become local, I mean, it'd be like the company that's doing our, testing. You'll end up having companies like that that'll come in and doing the inoculation, vaccination, whatever you want to call it, because, the way the material has to be handled, and, giving it to the people, there's a training process that goes through that. So, they're talking CVS, Walgreens, and all those places. But I think you'll see if the towns, if it comes local, you'll end up hiring a lab, a company, or a clinic type operation to come in and do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it's going to be, and everybody indicates that way. Even the people from the state say it appears it'll end up going that way.
I don't know. It would be if you were using the Pfizer vaccine. With the Moderna vaccine, you don't have those limitations. And I know that Walgreens and CVS are going out and doing, I don't know that they're doing people in-house. I know they're going out to, like, assisted living, group homes. They're going out and doing the vaccines there. I don't know what they're doing in terms of public, other than they've been contracted to do that part of it. So those people don't have to come out and get it. But I'm sure as we move along, we'll hear more about it.
Oh, yeah, I think we'll hear more probably in the next couple of months. I think it's going to happen too quickly here, so.
All right. The places that closed, were they closed? I'm sorry. The places that closed, did they close and reopen, or are these places that closed and the state closed?
They closed and reopened. They were, they had cases, and so they had to close and deep cleaning. The standard now is 24-hour period, wet to dry. That means cleaning and letting what's clean dry. So they're given 24 hours from the time they close.
And we've only had 2 or 3 of those, right?
Well, 3 or 4. Once a couple of times. So.
Yep.
One of them a couple of times.
Yeah, that one I know. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I interrupted. I think Kevin.
Go ahead.
Wasn't me.
Wasn't you? I don't know who it was.
If you interrupted me, I bet you know it.
Okay. I thought it was you. Thought I heard you talking.
Oh, I'm just listening.
All right.
That pretty much covers everything. Like I say, the office has been busy. It's nonstop as far as the COVID stuff, and the contact tracing they've slowed up quite a bit, and Maven stuff. I mean, Maven is very hard right now to even get anybody approved for it. It's almost impossible. You'd end up spending a year's salary trying to get somebody approved and trained in the Maven to even have come to work here. All towns are in the same boat. Trying to pass off the contact tracing on other people helping us out here and stuff. So, but it's busy, and if it's going to slow down, maybe a year from now, who knows?
On the call today, didn't they say they were continuing to train new people?
For CTC.
CTC.
Yeah, for CTC. So
yeah.
I'm assuming that they're still taking, because I heard the guy say if there's people that if it was a congregate thing, they pass that off to the town. But that they had a class this week that started on Monday, and they have another class starting next Monday. And I thought he said they doubled their staff since mid-November.
Yeah, doubled their staff since November.
And I think they're still hiring.
Yeah, they're still way behind, though. The cases are just coming in furiously. Was it 4,500 in a day or something? Process, something like that. Yeah.
Plus, they talked about the glitch where it would close a case. It would open a case and close a case.
Yeah, I couldn't hear the whole thing today, but there's quite a bit happening. So.
Yeah, yeah. He said something was happening where the cases were being opened, and then within 24 hours, because it wasn't inputted properly, it would automatically close the case, even though the person hadn't been contacted. So they had to go back.
No, this whole thing is taxing everybody, you know, it's taxing the town halls, you know, boards of health and everybody, you know, everything right down the line because it takes so much time and, you know, it takes time from your regular day. So it's really, it's been something that's, you know, we haven't experienced in our lifetime and, I guess you'd call us pioneers of what's going on, so, but that's about it. That's all I really have so far. You know, I mean, we can go on and on about the COVID and, you know, trying to make people wear masks and, you know, make people, you know, adhere to the, you know, requirements. But that's about it. Any questions, anything?
No. What about the nursing applications? Did we get any in?
No, just say they've always, you know, it takes so much to train anybody at Maven. Now you have to take a course. You have to take the course. You take a test. You'll spend probably 24 hours, a minimum of 24 hours, trying to get anybody Maven trained and into the Maven system.
If you get somebody who's retired, they may be already trained. Did any
No,
of
they
the
aren't. Yeah. Anybody that's retired that's got any Maven experience is already, you know, gone to someplace.
Do we have applications?
Not as of right now, we don't, because those other people we had are working.
They're working someplace else?
Yeah, we've tried. We've tried to get people. The main thing is to try to get contact tracing. We have a couple of people, assistants, through emails and stuff that, you know, the chief of police's secretary and the fire chief's secretary, kind of helping out in the contact tracing. That's the main thing. It's the most important part. You know, getting the information out to the people.
Oh, yeah.
That up. So.
And it's the most time-consuming part.
Yes, that's the time-consuming process. So how it's set up, Teresa handles the Maven and she passes stuff on to them. So.
All right.
Is everyone satisfied with Gil's report?
Yeah.
If so, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. If everyone's all set.
I will make a motion to adjourn. This is Kevin.
Thank you.
Arlene, I will second.
And we'll go to roll call. Arlene.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yes, please.
And I'm a yes also. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.